If the product is truly fantastic, I wouldn't care if it was served to me in a paper bag, as long as that money went back into the product development and the improvement. If you want a well-designed, easy to drive, highly resolving IEM, you're probably thinking, here comes the price tag. But this one surprisingly comes in at $39.99. It's almost confusing. The Simgot EW200 is a budget IEM that gives us more than it should. It's as plain and simple as that. If you want to get into an IEM and you're unsure where to start, this is honestly where I feel like you should be at. And while I probably should have saved that for the end of the video, I'm just going to tell you right now. I think it's a great product at a great price. And while we do get a few compromises here and there, the overall package they delivered for just under $40 is an absolute steal in this hobby of high dollar everything. So let's start with what you get at this price point. The EW200s themselves. They come in this polished metal, and yes, they are a bit heavy and they do pick up a lot of fingerprints. The weight part worried me a little bit for comfort. I had them in for hours, and it's really something you don't even realize you're wearing after you wear them for a period of time. We also get this cable. No problems with the cable. It has a decent flex to it, and it looks nice with the product. It's a dual pin design, so you're open to upgrades down the line if you so choose. This could be something like a balance cable or even a wireless attachment. Maybe if I wanted to pick on them a little bit, I could say that I would have preferred a straight connector over the 90-degree that it came with, but that's about it really. Beyond that, we get 3 sizes of tips and a felt pouch. It's a simple pouch, but it's always appreciated when one's included. You won't get an elaborate box or anything too wild, which is likely a good sign here. They put the money into the product instead of marketing, well, a box. It's amazing what goes into some of the packaging with some of the brands today. The first one comes to mind is probably iFi. They certainly give you a premium experience, but I have no doubt that it does add a decent amount to the bottom line as well. If the product is truly fantastic, I wouldn't care if it was served to me in a paper bag, as long as that money went back into the product development and the improvement. But people like shiny things and pretty boxes. If it works, it works. I'd truly appreciate it if you consider giving me a quick like and subscribe. I have reviews backed up for what feels like miles, so we have loads of great content on the way. New gear, vintage, DIY, all kinds of things. Without your help, it wouldn't even be possible. So let's build this together. Oh, and one more thing. If there's anything out there that you don't feel is being covered yet, as far as new gear, DIY projects, or upgrades that you're interested in, just comment below and let me know what they are. I've only got one set of eyes, so I can't find everything. And I always appreciate it when there's new things out there to find that look interesting and fun to review. Okay, back onto the comfort. I'd put these up there with some of the most comfortable IEMs I've tested. When you feel them in your hands, you might be a little curious how these would feel after some time with that weight, but really, they didn't feel heavy at all after wearing them. And the seal is pretty good once you find a good fit with the silicone tips they provided. I found a happy fit with the medium. It gave me really good isolation once I had them dialed in. They really disappear thanks to the design they went with. Well, I mean, they disappear in the sense you don't feel them. The polished metal look certainly isn't hiding anytime soon. Driveability on these won't be a concern. They have great sensitivity impedance ratio, which basically just means they're going to be really easy to amplify. So if you choose, you can simply run these direct out of your phone as far as power requirements go. Just be aware of the noise floor when pairing these up with a larger amplifier. The high sensitivity will also make them more susceptible to picking up source noise floor, which is common across all high sensitivity IEMs though. Now more of a deep dive into the sound. If we bring up the curve, we get a blend of the Harman 2016 target and the Simgot Classic target. As you can tell by looking at this, we have a slightly elevated bass and treble with a roll-off in comparison to tuning for a flat response. You might dismiss this thinking you're looking for neutral, but truth be told, the majority of listeners prefer the Harman curve, and it's generally how new mixes are recorded. To break it down quickly, Harman X, led by Sean Olive, as part of the Harman company, tested a bunch of people, and this is the average of what they enjoyed the most. It doesn't mean it's the perfect sound, it just means it's the sound that their collective preferred. With the EW200, it's a bit of a blend between the two, but they follow each other pretty closely as we can see. Now let's get into that bass. The EW200 presents with a tight and fast sounding mid bass. These do extend down into sub bass as well, but your most noticeable impact is going to be in the lower mid range. The deep bass has its presence, but it's more of a controlled filler with decent existence in the space, just not something that is going to chatter your teeth. I feel like it's a good balance. it certainly didn't muddy the detail at all. I actually think the bass was great, all things considered here. The mids have good separation and do pretty well with vocals. Male vocals may sound a bit more natural, maybe a bit subdued in comparison to the higher registering females that can be a little bit more forward. The upper mids in general are going to have a little bit more of a forward sound, and don't get too alarmed here. When I say forward, it's not fatiguing in my opinion. It's a clear but smooth sound. It's likely one of the most impressive parts of the design here. The treble won't make you feel like you're missing out on anything. Maybe not quite the party trick that the mid-range accomplishes, but there's certainly a good amount of energy without it becoming overpowering. The treble on these do a good job of layering in all the fine details. Now we have to remember these are $39.99 and we're not going to win out on everything here. And the soundstage won't be giant on these, but it still did enough to portray an accurate musical description of the space. We can't have everything at $40, so while this wasn't top tier, it was still very acceptable, and at the very least accurate and enjoyable. These were a big surprise to me. I won't call myself an IEM expert by any means, but I have sampled a good number of these, and coming in at $40, this is just a flat out buy if you have any interest in experimenting with IEMs. The resolution and detail that is delivered throughout the frequency ranges at $40 is downright impressive. Gear like this is a perfect example of what I like about this hobby. You can almost become numb to products in the high dollar amounts. Sure, they're a lot of fun and some of them do totally wow you, but it doesn't give you the same feeling of finding something like this. Under $50, they can bring this level of balance and fun and performance. This gives me the whole Wii Mini feel back when it first came out. I didn't know what to expect, and I didn't have high expectations as I mistakenly brought the price into the equation a bit too early. So when you actually get to testing, it really opens your eyes up to all the opportunities that are out there for people new into this hobby. If you shop the right items, you can put together a system that performs far better than it should if you're just looking at pricing. And yeah, these still won't beat out the high-end models, but that's not what these are about. These are more of a statement to the rest of the field saying, try to beat us at 40, and at this point, from what I've heard, good luck. So that's gonna cover it for today. This price category can be really hit or miss, and not just for headphones. It's a mix of products like this that totally get it and are taking ownership of a price point with a good product. Then others who are just putting something out there into the market with no regard to, well, anything. I'll link these down below in my description if you wanna check them out. They're available on Amazon, so it's a pretty risk-free purchase. I myself, I'll probably keep these into the rotation for a bit. I thought it was a really fun listen, and it's worthy of a recommendation. If you like today's content, please like and subscribe so I can feed my cat. See ya.